time of shutdown or lockdown. This is one called Numeracy Practice, and there were 12 questions I set you, just trying to review some of what we've done previously. You can see there at the outset, those are the various clips that if you weren't sure how to do the question, you could look at those, either the full video or indeed the 1-minute summary video. At the bottom you can say begin homework, or we can just go up to question 1. Let's have a look. We have Ted has 3 cards, 5, 2, 6. Make a list of all of the cards he can make using them, all the numbers even. Well, if we're not sure how to do this, we can look at any hints Mr Kane has set. Well, I haven't for this one. Or we could go down and look at listing strategies. We can click on that and then we can watch how we might organize ourselves. If I was doing this, I would look for pattern spotting. I might start with, say, 2, 5, 6, and then 2, 6, 5, starting with a 2 first of all. I might then look at, say, what do we start with? A 5, 2, 6, and a 5, 6, 2. Any other combinations? We could start with a 6, 2, 5, or what about a 6, 5, 2? And hopefully those would work. I hit submit answer. I don't know why it says whoops there, but it's given me 3 out of 3. So, question 2, some bid mass. 5 plus 2 times 3 squared. Well, I know that with bid mass, I have to do my indices first. So 3 squared will be 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 18 plus 5 is 23. Now, obviously, do it in a bit of paper. I just don't have one here. Over here, we have 7 plus 8 on the top line. 5 minus 2 on the bottom line. The bottom line means division, so we will do that in a minute. First of all, it's like having brackets here. 5 plus 7, so 7 plus 8 is 15. 5 minus 2 is 3. So 15 divided by 3 would be 5. Let's try that. And then over here, a bit more complicated. I'll do my multiplication here first of all. So 6 times 3 is 6. 3 times 2 is 6. 18 minus 6 is 12. Here, 5 minus 1 squared. Well, 1 squared is just 1. 5 minus 1 is 4. So 12 divided by 4 should be 3. Let's have a look and see how we did. And there we go. Keep saying whoops, but never mind. Question 3, we want to find 80 as a product of prime factors. Well, I am going to use some paper for that. So I'm going to draw 80, just like this. And I'm going to break that down with my tree. And I'm going to say, right, so 2 is a prime number, which would give me 40. What else goes in there? Well, I can do another 2, which would give me 20. This is my prime factor tree. Let's do another 2, takes it down to 10. My 10, again, I know is a 2, and it's 2 times 5. So what have I got? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, lots of 2, which I can write like that if I want to. And I've got times 5. So let's see if we can plug that in to our questions there. 2 to the power times 4. Well, it says a product of prime factors. It doesn't say in index form. So I'm just going to write 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. And we'll see how we do. And there we go. Question 4. Let's have a look at the square numbers. Which ones? Well, a square number is a number that something times itself gives it. So 5 times 5 I know is 25. So that must be a square number. And a cube number is like that. Something times something times something. Well, 27 there is going to work for me. So let's try those and see how we do. Excellent. Let's go on to question 5. Percentages and fractions. Well, 7/10, I know that 1/10 is 10%. So 7/10, I guess, ought to be 70%. I don't know if they want the sign or not, but I'll stick it in. 67 is a funny one. It's 67 over 100. So I'm going to use I'm going to try and write it like this and see if it likes that. And then 9 over 2, well, I think that's going to be 4.5. Now, a whole is 100%. So 4 wholes would be 400%. So I reckon it's going to be 450%. Let's see how we did with that one. Looks good to me. So, moving on to question 6. Carol buys a house for that much money, pays 10%. How much does she pay? Well, it's 1/10 of that. So I reckon that if we put in 234,900, that's what it would be normally. We're going to take 10%, so it's 1/10 of that. And the quick way to really is just knock off the 0 on this occasion, so it should be that much money. And there we go. Question 7. Let's have a look. We're going to expand these. Now, the secret of expanding, again, if you can't remember, go down, have a look at that video on expanding brackets. So I have 2 lots of x plus 3. So 2 times x, 2 times 3 will give me 2x plus 2 times 3 is 6. I have 5 lots of 2x and 5 lots of negative 4. So 5 lots of 2x should be 10x. And 5 lots of negative 4 should be negative 20. For C, 4 lots of 2x, 4 lots of plus 1. Well, 4 lots of 2x is 8x. 4 lots of 1 is 4. And finally, 8 lots of x and 8 lots of negative 4y. A little bit harder. 6 times x is 6x. The negative goes there. 6 times 4 is 24, but it's not just 24 by itself. It's 24 lots of y. Let's see how we did there. Super. Question 8. Here we're going to work out the nth term of these sequences. Well, it's just substitution. So when n is 1, I stick 1 into here. 2 times 1 is 2. Take away 6. Well, that's going to be negative 4. When n is 2, 2 times 2 is 4. Take away 6 is negative 2. And when n is 3, 2 times 3, take away 6. Well, 2 times 3 is 6. Take away 6 is 0. Now, the interesting thing here is it's going up in twos, which I expect because it is 2n. And then finally, the 10th term, well, 2 times 10 would be 20. Take away 6 ought to be 14. And again, if you weren't sure about that, we go down and have a look at clip 102 just to remind us what we learned earlier this year. Question 9. We're going to change these into centimeters and millimeters. Well, I'm going to remember there are 10 millimeters in a centimeter. So I'm going to be going from millimeters to centimeters is smaller. So here I'm going to divide by 10. So 125 divided by 10 becomes 12.5 centimeters. Centimeters into millimeters, well, there's more millimeters than there are centimeters. So I'm going to multiply. That should be 840. Centimeters into meters, well, I know there's 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So to go from 100 to 1, I divide by 100. So what's 890 divided by 100? Well, it's going to be 8.9. 890 is 8.9 meters. And finally, that many meters in centimeters, well, 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So I multiply by 100. Multiply this by 100 should get 480 centimeters. And there we go. 3 left. Question 10. So I have here a square-based cuboid. So what do I want to do? Well, I want to find the area of this face and multiply by the length of the prism. This is a square. That'll be 4 by 4. So that's going to be 16. And then 16 times 10 is going to give me 160. But I'm asked for the units. So centimeters what? Well, centimeters is for length. Centimeters squared is for area, because a square is a 2D shape. Centimeters cubed has to do with volume. So I'm going to hit the little box here, look for the cubed, and there it is. Number 11. Work out the angle of x. Well, this one is quite tricky. Here, that's a straight line. And I know that the angles in a straight line add up to 180. So if that's 130, this must be 130 take away, so 180 take away 130, that must be 50. And here, this must be 180 take away 96, and that's going to be 84. Well, I'm going to go back to my thing and work that out. So I've got 50 plus 84. I'm going to add those two together. That gives me 134. So I know that those angles together, this one and this one, are going to give me 134. So what's this one going to be? Well, basically it's this, take away 180. So 180 take away that and that. Well, I can do that. So let's do 180 take away 134. And if I do that, I know I'm going to have to borrow there, make that a 7, carry over. That becomes a 6, that becomes a 4, and it should be, hopefully, 46 degrees if I haven't made a mistake. Let's have a look, shall we? Looking good. And finally, number 12. Here I want to find the coordinates of the fourth corner. There's one here, and one here. Well, I reckon it's going to be here. So with coordinates, I do the horizontal, the x first, and then the y. So it should be 5 along and 7 up. But I need to write coordinates inside brackets. So first of all, open brackets, then 5, 7, and submit answer. And there we go. Excellent. Well, I hope you found that useful. I'd appreciate if you could leave me some feedback on this so I can see if you found it useful. You can go back and maybe finish off this homework now. And if enough people say it's useful, I'm happy to make some more in the future. Thank you.